Today, Baba is at the outset of the Murli, making us sit in the intoxication that I now belong to Shiv Baba and Brahma Baba. So, Shiv Baba is my supreme parent, and Brahma Baba is my alokik parent. And Baba says that this is adoption, and I have adopted you, and you must stay in this intoxication. Baba has changed us from a Shudra to a Brahmin. Yes, do you stay in this awareness that Baba has come and changed me from a Shudra to a Brahmin? Yes, you see, I always think about this thing that many a times uh, we don't understand that every change in our life has implications. Yes, let me give you a very simple example. For example, there is a brother or a sister, and she is not married or he is not married, and then they get married and then they have a baby. Now, earlier, if you just thought about yourself, it was not a sin. But now, if you just think about yourself, and while the baby is there, you don't feed the baby, you don't take care of the baby, then you are committing a sin of neglect. Yes. So, and why I'm giving this example, there was this one Mata, and she never took care of her child. And she said that, I have the freedom to choose how I spend my day, and I shouldn't be in bondage of taking care of the child. It sounds very rare, but this happened, and I was witness to this episode. And she said that I have every right to lead the life I want to and spend the day as I want to, and I have no bondage of taking care of a child, and why is everybody holding me accountable? And then she said, you are on a spiritual path, and tell me, why should I conform to the rules of the society? So I said, it's not just a rule of society, it's a rule of karma. So she said, how is karma involved in this? So I said, you see, we hear God's murlis. I said, you have come here for the first time, so you don't know this, but let me tell you that here we listen directly to God's versions and God's directions, and God has told us about this law that if you create something, you have to sustain it. So Baba has given us this law. I don't know if you have noticed it in the Murli. In the Murli, Baba says, "Jo rachna karega, wo palna karega," which means that the creator has to become the sustainer. And according to that law, because we become instruments for creating the new world, we are held accountable to sustain that new world. So that is why Baba says, because you create the new world, so you will go and sustain it. And I am now filling you with both the sanskars of being a creator and a sustainer. So here Baba teaches us how to, be a creator, sustainer, and destroyer. So destroyer of old sanskars, creator of Satyugi sanskars, and sustainer of the new world order. So all these sanskars Baba is teaching us right now. Why? Because Baba has given us this law that those who create have to sustain. So you see that when there is a change in your context, you cannot say that, there is a shift in your context, but there will be no implications on your karma, or, you will not be bound by any law when some shift happens. So this is a very important thing to understand, that, just like I gave you the example that when there is no child, neglecting the child is not an issue. But when there is a child and you don't take care of the child, then it amounts to neglect and it incurs a sin. And similarly, Baba tells us that, earlier we didn't have Baba in our life. Okay, so there was no Brahma Baba, no Shiv Baba, no sustenance we were receiving, and that was then. It was fine. But then now I am receiving sustenance. I am receiving, directions from Baba. I am receiving love from Baba. I am receiving knowledge from Baba. And I'm also receiving sustenance from the physical instruments. So you see, it's not just Shiv Baba directly, but also Brahma Baba when he was in Sakar, and now also Brahma Baba is sustaining us in his avyakt angelic state. And even, the children of Baba who are running centers, who are the instruments to take care of the service in the centers, we are receiving sustenance from them, are we not? So we are taking a lot of sustenance from Shiv Baba and Shiv Baba's direct instruments who are in the corporeal world. So now we have to understand that this equation, this change in equation, when we become adopted by Shiv Baba through Brahma Baba, this new life means something, it has certain implications. So you cannot, so if we do not adhere to the directions that Baba gives us, then we are creating an account of sin. And in Christianity, they speak very clearly about two kinds of sins. One is the sin of commission. So you do something and that amounts to sin. And then there is the sin of omission. So you are supposed to do something and you don't do it. And that also creates an account of sin. And Baba says that those who don't understand the implications of this Brahmin life, and those who don't understand their duties and responsibilities because they are taking sustenance from Shiv Baba and Brahma Baba, they also commit an account of sin. They also incur an account of sin, and that is the sin of omission. And when we incur that account of sin, then what happens is we have to pay for it. And then we receive punishment for it. Yes. So Baba gives us this law that, earlier you got angry, it was okay. Yes. So it was a sin, but then it was not that big a sin. But now you are receiving sustenance from Baba. And Baba is giving you the power and the virtues and the knowledge, and every day Baba is giving you so much of love, and still you get angry. Then 100-fold sin you are creating. And many children don't understand that this. So Baba in the Murli every day says that, this is a new life. I have adopted you. Now you have become my heir. Now I am teaching you. But we don't understand that this is a new life. This is a new birth. Yes. And when you are born, when you are reborn, you have a new set of parents, then you have to be obedient towards those parents. Yes. For example, I am in my old birth, last birth, when I was in my old body, then I had my allegiance towards those set of parents. But now I'm reborn, I'm born into this body. So I have my allegiance and my duties and my, I have to be obedient towards the new set of parents. And then I have to listen to them and I have to give them the return of that sustenance. And Baba says here, it is a new birth. Whether you acknowledge it or not acknowledge it will lead to, whether you create good karma or bad karma. So Baba says, I have come and adopted you, and now you are receiving sustenance from Mother Brahma Baba and Father Shiv Baba. And then Baba says that you are bound to, acknowledge that you are receiving sustenance, and you are bound to pay it back. And how do you pay it back? So Baba says, first thing is you follow my directions. I am giving you directions not for nothing. So when you are a Brahmin, you have to follow Shrimat. It's not optional. If you don't follow Shrimat, then you are committing a sin of omission. Yes, and this is something that, we need to understand, because in this Brahmin life, I have seen that many children don't appreciate this. Yes, so, sometimes you feel that, oh, God has come and God is giving everything for free, so I have no liability for it. But no, whenever somebody gives you something, you have a liability. You become the taker. So it becomes a kind of a burden until you absolve yourself of that burden. So when Baba comes and gives all this sustenance, and I don't give the return of it, that means that I am creating an account of burden on myself. And many children don't understand this. They consider this whole episode of receiving Baba's sustenance as very ordinary. They don't understand the implications of it, just like that mother didn't understand the implication of having a child. And she was very annoyed and upset that why is everybody holding her accountable for the child. But that is that is a law. You cannot say that I have a child and I don't take care of the child, and nobody should hold me accountable. So similarly, when you are a Brahmin, you have to behave like a Brahmin. When you have been adopted, so sometimes children think that I did the course just like that. No, you didn't do the course just like that. People say we got married just like that, or I had a child just like that. I didn't think about it. Whether you thought about it or not thought about it, this is your reality now, and you have to understand the implication of it. And if you don't understand the implication of it, there is a karmic account going on. And if you don't do that, so I will tell you one incident in this Brahmin life. So when I came to Baba, and so let me tell you, when I came to Baba, I had no intention to become serviceable. Okay, so I was very happy that Baba has freed me from all the burden of responsibilities, and now I'm free and I can just, be egoless and be free from vices and not mind anything and just enjoy my life. But then, in one time, so I had this rule that I would read one Avyakt Murli every day. So one time when I was reading the Avyakt Murli, then in that Avyakt Murli, it was written that when you belong to Baba, then so just like when you are in the Lokik world, and then you, according to the Lokik life, according to the rules of the society, you are supposed to do certain things at certain points of time. So in that Avyakt Murli, I understood that according to the laws of the society, there is a time to do everything. Yes, so according to the laws of the society, if you don't get married at the right age, or if you don't bear children and you don't take up responsibilities, you don't earn your own bread and butter, then people will hold you accountable, right? And now you have become a Brahmin, so Baba has freed you from those vicari responsibilities, those vicious responsibilities. Baba has freed you from the bondages of vicious rules of the society. But then you have to be in bondage of Baba Shrimat. So you cannot be, just you are not like scot free. So it's not like you don't have any kind of responsibilities. And from that Murli, I understood that if I don't now take up the responsibility of service, then my past karmic burdens of 63 births will start pulling me. And then I will have to spend my time, thought, energy of Brahmin life in that. So let me just take up the responsibility of seva. And when I started doing that, then I have had a very smooth life ever since. So yes, there are obstacles and everything, but then I have understood that because I'm doing what Baba asks me to do, so even if a karmic settlement comes up from my backlog of past karma, so I have made sure that I earn, I have accumulated an account of punya, which enables me to offset that account. So I'm able to cross those papers. And I will tell you one very simple thing. For example, whenever there is some karmic settlement, then although I may have a thought of feeling tired or upset, I don't get consumed by that thought. I'm able to overcome that thought very easily and go back to zeal and enthusiasm and hope, and not fall into despair and not get upset, and of course not do any vikarma. And this is one thing which I feel is a product of following Baba's Srimad. So, because I have, accumulated the account of yoga power, or I have accumulated the power of knowledge, or I am doing seva and body, mind, and wealth, when I have invested in Baba's seva, then all that is giving me an account of charity or punya, which enables me to offset the burden of those 63 births of karmic accounts. Those burdens manifest themselves in the form of illnesses or unfavorable, behaviors or unfavorable situations. But those situations are not able to become a block in my path of Brahmin life. They come and they go, and I am able to overcome them. And that is because I have understood this equation from that Avyakt Murli, and of course today's Murli, that Baba, when we take sustenance from Baba, we have to listen to what Baba says. And we have to become serviceable. So Baba says there are two things. One is follow my directions, and second is show others also the path. And when it comes to showing everyone this path, then this service requires body, mind, and wealth, all three. And Baba says every child has a responsibility towards sustaining Baba's yagya with body, mind, and wealth. And if you don't do that, then Baba says, how will you earn my blessings? Because I'm giving you so much of sustenance, and you don't become pure, and you don't show others the path, or you don't become serviceable, then how will you receive my blessings? Yes, so Baba is today very clearly telling us that. And today Baba also talks about those children who, Baba gives a story that, there was this one farmer's daughter, and she was poor, and then a king adopted her. Okay, and then he or married her, I think, adopted her or married her, whatever. And then she was taken to the palace. And then she didn't like her life in the palace. Yes, and she kept creating this thought that, I'm not comfortable. She did not accustom herself to the new life. And then what happened is she went back to staying with her father. And you see, if a king adopts you, and then because you are not able to appreciate that fortune, you are sent back, then that's such a big misfortune. Yes, but those who are unfortunate, they will not realize it. Because their fortune, it is not in the fortune to even realize that. But Baba says, similar is this life. Baba says, I have adopted you, and I have adopted you to give you 21 births of inheritance. And when you don't appreciate this, you don't have regard for this new life, you disregard Baba's teachings, you disregard Baba's directions, then what happens is, do you know what happens when you do that? So Baba says, first thing happens is you become stone intellects. Yes, and what is a stone intellect? Somebody who can't appreciate the Murli, somebody who is not able to find the jewels in the Murli, somebody who is not able to understand that, Baba is giving me jewels which are transforming, which have the capacity to transform my life and fortune. That is a stone-headed person. Somebody who cannot value Baba's Murli and Baba's directions, and you slowly, gradually lose interest in the Murli and lose interest in yoga. And this losing of interest in creating your fortune, because you see, being a yogi or being Baba's student is the way to create your fortune. But if you start losing interest in that, that means that the burden of sins incurred after coming to Baba is very huge. And how do you incur that extra burden of sin? When you do perform actions against Baba Shrimat, or you become disobedient after coming to Baba, after receiving so much of sustenance, if you're still continuing with your old ways of living, that means that you're taking sustenance and disregarding it, and that makes you incur 100-fold amount of sin. And this equation one has to understand. And Baba today says that those who come to Baba and then leave Baba, yes, because this leaving is a sign that you did not listen to what Baba said. And Baba said sometimes, children, Baba always says, don't hear, don't see that which is against Shrimat. Sang dosh. Baba always says that beware of company. Don't take bad company. Baba has not asked us to take the company of human beings or the opinions of human beings. Baba says always keep company of me and my instruments. Nobody else. You want to ask something, you want to, and I have seen this, that sometimes you ask for an opinion or a suggestion from people who don't even know Baba, yes, or those who know Baba but they are not dedicated, with their buddhi, they are not dedicated to, they don't have love for Baba. And then what happens is, those children, when they guide you, they misguide you. And then sometimes that misguidance you are not able to discern because you're already weak. Yes, I remember, I'll tell you one thing. There was this one Kanya staying in a center. And whenever the Didi would scold her for something, maybe she did something wrong or anything, she would call her mother. And the mother is a grihasthi, right? So she is not into gyan. So then she would say that, I felt very bad, Didi said this to me. And then the mother would say, yes, of course you will feel bad. And nobody should talk like this. And then, she became, so then she's completely stopped noticing that the Didi is giving her so much love and sustenance also. And she started completely focusing on the faults of the Didi. And then what happened is, slowly, gradually, she didn't leave the Didi, she left Baba. So when she left Baba, then after many years, when she came to her senses, because when you leave Baba, what do? You go back to the old world, and then what do you do there? You become vicious, and then what will you get by becoming vicious? You will get a lot of sorrow. And then again, she realized the mistake she had made, and she came to this center some time back, and she told me this whole story of her life. And then, with her own in her own words, she told me that, I shouldn't have listened to my mother. So I said, no, you shouldn't have talked to your mother. So you must know that whose company you have to keep. When you are a Brahmin, Baba says that, you should have the intellect to discern whose company to keep. Even if she is your mother, she is your Lokik mother, she wishes well for, she is not the master ocean of knowledge. She doesn't understand Baba, she doesn't understand Baba's task. And even if the mother is a BK, still she is not a surrendered BK, she is living in a household. And you are living in the center. So you have to understand who to talk to. And Baba says sometimes, children, they spoil their fortune by not understanding whose company to keep. So, when you are upset, when you are low, when you are weak, what do? You read the Murli. If you don't have any Nimit also to talk to or ask questions, read the Murli. Baba's Murli will tell you the answers. Baba's Murli will guide you what to do, what not to do. And don't fall back on, the directions and opinions of impure souls. Their intellects are not working. They will not give you good directions. So Baba says those children who come to me and then go back to the old world, they have, that is a very big account of sin. And Baba today, do you know what Baba says in the Murli? Baba says, if somebody kills somebody, there is an account of sin. Just think about what God is saying. God is saying that if somebody commits a murder, there is sin. But do you know, when somebody belongs to Baba and goes back to the old world, that is a bigger sin. The sin incurred is bigger than that of killing somebody, because you have killed. So when you kill one person, you kill one person. But here, when you go back to the old world, you are killing your 21 births of fortune. And it is like killing 21 people, and that too deities. Do you understand that? So the sin incurred is very huge. And then Baba says, in the world, you get angry. It's not a big deal, but here you get angry, you speak bitter words, you incur hundredfold amount of sin. Hundredfold the account that you usually create in your mundane life when you get angry. Yes, and then Baba today says that if you become impure after coming to Baba, so just think about, how Baba is giving us so much of knowledge and yoga power and so much of sustenance, and still, if I cannot overcome the urge of the senses and I, disregard that. So just, the other day, one Mata was telling me, I cooked a very large, a meal for my son. And then, do you know what he did? He ate that, and still after eating that, he ordered something from outside. And I felt very bad. I felt like, all my effort went to vain. And then I told that Mata, Baba's children are doing that all the time, taking everything from Baba, and still, they want sensuous pleasure from outside also. So then this is, what have you done? You have reduced Baba's sustenance to some kind of cheap pleasure, that, you take this also and that also, and this is not enough. So Baba says this is not another form of entertainment. Just like, people are watching 3 movies and 1 series and, 100 reels in a day. So Baba says this is not one of those movies or series or reels that, along with that you are also attending class, and along with that you are also doing this. No. Baba says you are receiving God's sustenance. And when you receive God's sustenance should be enough. You shouldn't have the urge to again go and engage in sensual pleasure. And if you are engaging in sensual pleasure, then you are not taking knowledge as knowledge. You're just taking it like information. Or you are not having yoga with Baba, with your heart. You're just doing it as some form of physical exercise. That's why you are not able to feel the fulfillment that Baba is giving you. And that is why there is this urge to go and, seek sensual pleasure from outside, whether it's the pleasure of eating impure food or pleasure of going and indulging in sensual, activity. So Baba says, if you become impure after coming to Baba, belonging to Baba, then it incurs a very big karmic account. And the karmic burden is huge. And then Baba also tells us that there are some children who defame Baba. Yes, so when you call yourself a Brahmin and a BK, and you don't behave like a BK, yes, then you are defaming Baba. Yes, so when, because I don't know whether you realize this, everybody in the world knows how BKs are supposed to behave. Only BKs don't know that. So, they know that you don't take impure food. They know that, you wake up at Amrit Vela, they know that you don't get angry, you are very peace loving, and they know all of that. And then when you are not conducting yourself in a disciplined way or in a peaceful way or in a pure way, then people start having doubts about Baba, because they know that you say that you're God's children. So Baba says that when you do not behave like a Brahmin, then you are defaming me. And when you defame me, that means that you are incurring that amount of karmic burden on yourself. And then Baba says, you will have to receive punishment later on. And if you receive punishment, your status will be reduced. So Baba says, don't perform any such acts that your status will be reduced in the end. And then Baba says, those children who really love Baba, who appreciate that they belong to Baba, God Himself, and those who have regard for Baba's teachings and directions, what will be the sign of those children? Those children will do everything Baba says as Baba says it. Waking up at 4 means 4. 4 to 4:45, Amrit Mela means 4 to 4:45. They will not miss even a minute. They will follow every direction of Baba. And the most important direction is they will be serviceable. They will take Baba's service very seriously. They understand that Baba has come from the soul world, and Baba is trying to give every child of his this message that now you become pure and stay in my remembrance. And whatever it takes, time, thought, energy, body, mind, wealth, those children will sustain Baba's service with their own life, their own resources. And that is the sign of somebody who understands who Baba is. And they will always give happiness. Yes, because there is enough sorrow in the world. There are enough sorrow givers in the world. Nobody needs sorrow. So even if you are teaching somebody or, correcting somebody or showing somebody that, they are doing this wrong and they should do it right, the method is to be loveful and do it. So Baba says there is no problem with correcting, there is no problem with teaching, there is no problem with improving. In fact, Baba does all that for us, and we also have to do it for everybody. But we have to do it how Baba does it. How does Baba do it? With so much of benevolence and love in his heart that you never feel a pinch, even when Baba says that you correct this or do this. And Baba says similarly, you also have to be loveful always. When you are loveful in every activity, you give happiness. Your engagement, interactions have to be knowledgeful, loveful, and powerful. And you have to speak, think, and behave in a manner that everybody receives happiness from you. So these are the signs of those children who understand who they are and who they are going to become, and those who become, who have the fortune but spoil the fortune by not appreciating this Brahmin life. Okay, Om Shanti. Anybody wants to share anything, please do.
Om Shanti, Diji.
Om Shanti.
May I ask one question?
Yes.
Some family members bring some strangers to have meals or lunch or tiffin from here. Is there any problem in giving that when I cook it with remembrance of Baba?
No, because you see, first thing is those family members who are bringing them, they are the ones paying for the food, right? So yes, sir. So that is fine. So you have to just cook the meal and serve it. So you do it in Baba's remembrance. And anyways, when you are not in a position of choice, it is also some kind of karmic burden.
Okay.
But Baba always says that don't look at karmic burdens as karmic burdens, look at them as opportunities of seva. So when you are not in a position to say no, so then what you do is you change your attitude and always understand that I can do it as an act of seva, and you do it like that. Okay?
Okay, Devi.
Okay.
Thank
Om
you.
Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Anybody else wants to share anything? Okay.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Yeah, today Baba said that Baba giving blessing to us, but he say when you become a worthy and when you are doing worthy child and serviceable. When you are serviceable, then you are able to receive Baba's blessing.
Right.
And also, he said you have to give happiness to others because at this point of time, the people are with a lot of sorrow and distress. And therefore, Baba is the bestower of happiness. We children also bestower of happiness.
Correct.
We are having enough happiness, therefore we should be able to give any time.
Right.
And the other one, Baba said that, and he is an ocean of knowledge. And Baba said that Brahma Baba, he is also the master. He said he's the ocean, river of knowledge, big Brahmaputra. And we are all also the rivers of knowledge.
Correct.
Therefore, we should be able to give our, to that extent, we are able to make the, imbibe the knowledge and able to give the benefit to the
Correct.
souls what we are dealing with.
Yes.
The other one, Baba say that he is giving the Srimad to us, and therefore he said that you are promised already, you can't disobey that, and
Correct.
therefore you have to follow every directions.
Correct.
And you must do. Suppose if you don't do that, and suppose if you get angry, or if you don't do that, you get 100% hold of punishment. Therefore, that is the one we have to be very careful what instructions or we received, and to follow that one. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Okay. Thank you. Om
Thank
Shanti.
you. Om Shanti.